All right, so let's round out our discussion on the hyperscalers, right? So we've talked about the two biggest, and we're going to talk about the third. Everybody knows Google. And Google Cloud Platform, or GCP, is Google's IaaS as a service, right? So if we recall, we were talking data centers all over the world, all interconnected. And you might imagine that with the size of Google and what they've done, they've got literally data centers everywhere. So a little bit like Amazon, back in 2011, Google realized based off of YouTube, search, the apps, they had excess capacity, right? So we had all of this that they could use. And they rolled it out to the community just as AWS has and just as Azure has. Now, today, we're looking at 5% of the marketplace, guys. 5% and growing. So how does Google grow? Well, let's think about Google. They are kind of the quintessential as a service company, right? Google Suite, Gmail, etc. So what Google has done, and we've double checked this, they are the cloud IaaS price leader, right? Meaning they're less expensive than even Amazon, which is kind of crazy. Because Amazon, with their volume and size, it would be amazing to see how somebody could come in and do it for less, but they do. But what Google's really done, they're not really into our mainstream yet. And the reason being is because they've really become a platform for SaaS and developers, right? So if I want to go stand up some services, I want my pricing to be really, really low, right? I'm going to go and I'm going to look at GCP and see if I can do it with them. But again, they're not the Amazon. They're not like Microsoft with all of their services and platforms kind of overlaying onto each other. They're not like AWS with the AWS community, right? They're really geared in here for our smart guys. If you guys remember these guys, you need the smart guys here. The smart guys have to roll this out, bring it up, service it, and keep it going. And we talked about it. Price might be great, but don't forget, these smart guys cost a lot of money. And when we're looking at everything encompassing moving to cloud services, we have to incorporate all of our cost. It's not simply that I have a virtual machine and I have a software that I put on it and I spin it up and I take it out to market and I sell it. We got to remember the labor that comes into play here. And in future courses, we're going to talk a lot more about how that labor impacts customers and how moving to the cloud is a great decision. But if you're going to help them get to the cloud, you've got to understand this cost structure. So that's it for Google Cloud. Thank you.